I'm in Team Landon SF. Currently, the entire site collection uses the same set of permissions. They are all set in Landon Hotel Intranet and inherited through the specific hotel sites. But we need unique permissions for Team Landon SF and the others. That's our design. So I'm going to go not to Landon Hotel Intranet where we've set these parent permissions, but to the site where I want to set new and different unique permissions. Click on Site Permissions in the Site Settings, and it says this website inherits from its parent, and it's like, yep, that's fine, but we're going to stop inheriting the permissions. This reminds us that changes made to Landon Hotel Intranet permissions after this won't affect anything going on here in Team Landon San Francisco. And a nice little line that says to manage changes in permissions across multiple websites using groups is recommended. It's like, no kidding. I've been talking about groups since we started talking about permissions. We don't want to set individual permissions. That's a really bad road to walk down. But it's interesting to me how often I find SharePoint administrators who create a site collection, then create their top-level site, and immediately go in and stop all permission inheritance, sort of as a startup activity that they go through. And if I had done that, I would have disconnected the permission inheritance from this site a long time ago. The reason I didn't is my philosophy is I'm going to wait as late as I can, because the permissions on that parent site are going to be copied down to this new site when I stop inheriting permissions. So when I click OK here, I not only get the security groups that are built in, for example, team site members, team site owners, team site visitors, and viewers. But if I had found a need to build any more groups and any more permission levels, I would have all of that to inherit. In other words, a richer inheritance, because I've waited longer, I've invested more time and expertise in the high-level parent site. So I like to wait. Even if I know I'm going to need unique permissions, I just don't see a reason to rush it until I'm close to adding users to my site. Let's click OK to stop inheriting permissions. SharePoint now wants to know how I'm going to deal with the site visitors, the site members, and the site owners. And my choices are either to use the existing group to say that people who are team site members, that would be in the Landon Hotel Intranet, and the privileges that they would have would still apply here. So if you're a team site member in Landon Hotel Intranet, then you could be a visitor on this site. That actually could work. There wouldn't be anything wrong with that. But I can choose also to create a new group. So this speaks to needing to have a really good idea of my structure before I begin doing this. Is it true that everyone who's a member of Landon Hotel Intranet would automatically be a visitor to this site? Yes. Might there be other people who aren't members of Landon Hotel Intranet who could also be visitors to this site? Yes. Well, then let's create a new group. Notice I didn't have to type a name. It's Team Landon SF Visitors. A new group for members and a new group for owners. And because I am the owner of this site, I'm also thrown in here as a member right away. It might be that the owners of this site are actually the same people as the owners of the higher level site. And in that case, we can go back and use the Team Landon SF owners as the owners here as well. Notice I can keep a little bit of the inheritance if I would like. Not a bad thing. To say if you are a team site owner, you're also an owner here. It's not a bad idea for me to add, for example, another owner if I disinherit and I'm the only owner that's left. That's just a really good idea. If I have another site owner, I should add them to that group right away. I'm all set, so I'm going to click OK. It tells me this website has unique permissions, and you'll see the groups. The groups that already existed and the groups that I just created, and all of them have permissions. If I go, for example, to see what's going on with the team site visitors here, what I'll find is that there are people in there, everyone as a matter of fact, because all of the permissions that are already there have been copied. If I don't want the team site visitors from the Landon intranet site to have access here, then I will need to get rid of those visitors or get rid of those groups here on this site. So I can select team site visitors and remove the user permissions for the following user or group to Team Landon SF, team site visitors. Now, even if you were an acceptable visitor to Landon Hotel Intranet, you will not be a visitor here unless we add you to this group. The other possibility is I can keep the groups if I think I will use them for something and simply remove everyone from them. Here are my permissions for Team Landon SF, which are different than my permissions from the Landon Hotel Intranet. Now, there might be an occasion where I would want to re-inherit permissions. Let me tell you what it usually looks like. What happens is, for whatever reason, rather than putting people in groups, someone goes in and starts simply adding somebody, because I can add someone here. They don't have to all be groups. I can grant permission to a person, remember, to a specific role. So somebody calls and says they need some permission, they need to be able to contribute to the site. And rather than adding them to the team site members or setting up another group that could be non-members who contribute, somebody just adds them, puts their name in and adds them here. And you'll know that because you go into a site and rather than having a small number of groups, you have a bunch of individual people. And managing that can get to be too much. And sometimes the easiest solution for that in conversation with your business users is to try to put everybody into groups, think you have everyone in groups at the higher level, and then re-inherit permissions. You do that by saying you want to delete unique permissions. When you do that, if you have any outliers, anyone who's been granted permissions outside of a group, and that will usually happen by someone sharing a document or a folder with them, then those folks will lose their permissions. It says this site includes things that have been shared with specific people, and those people will lose access. Now, you can go find each and every one of those people and find out that they have limited access, but it's not as easy to find out exactly what document they've been given limited access to. So this is something that you only do if you absolutely need to. When you are done deleting the unique permissions, you will once again be inheriting from the parent site. We don't want to do that, but if you need to, it's possible. If you do that, then we will have groups, Team Landon SF members and Team Landon SF visitors, that will serve no real function anymore. The groups exist. They may even have people in them, but they're not being used any longer because they're not used in the Landon Hotel intranet site. The way you would clean that up is to go into site settings and go to people and groups and delete the groups you no longer need.